Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Coffee with Experts. I'm your host, Matt Fraser. On today's show, I have Carol Verity Mann with me. Carol is the co-owner of We Get Digital, a web design and SEO agency headquartered in Letchworth Garden City in the United Kingdom. She's also the author of Smart Website Planning and How to Think Like a Search Engine. Carol has over 35 years of experience in sales and marketing and was the winner of the high-profile Entrepreneur of the Year award. She excels at helping entrepreneurs and small business owners build beautiful websites that get found in Google and is an experienced SEO. When not building beautiful websites for her clients, Carol enjoys spending time with her family and traveling with her husband. Carol, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you.
Right on. So I understand you were originally working for a company doing sales and marketing in the luxury and overseas property industry. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Oh, gosh. Yeah, that started back in 1983.
Oh, wow.
I've just come back to the UK. I was living in Spain. I'd grown up between London and Spain. So I'm completely bilingual Spanish, English, came back to England.
Oh, right on.
I saw an ad in the paper one day that said, overseas property company seeks young, dynamic person to join them. Knowledge of the Costa del Sol preferable, not essential. And I just joined. I joined the company and started working, selling property in Spain. And very quickly realized that we were really busy. In the 80s, it was just mad.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
And my cousin was working with computers and stuff. So I went to my boss and I said, look, I think it would be really good if we put everything that we're doing and we could put it on one of those computer things and we could become more efficient.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he said to me, he said, okay, that's a good idea. Why don't you do it?
Yeah. Yeah. He gave you had the idea, so he gave you the responsibility. So
yeah, I got to code it though. I'm not big on coding, but I was good on planning and mapping out what we wanted, and it was right back, we didn't have the internet, but we did have computers, so we built a sort of CRM system. So that was my introduction.
Oh, right on. Oh, cool, right on. And what motivated you or inspired you to start your own marketing agency, or web design agency, SEO agency?
Oh,
in general.
Right. Yeah. Because so back in 1998, fast forward from the Spanish property and having kids, I got married, had some children, as you do. And I'd always been like good at art, and I always wanted to sort of do some kind of degree in something. And I found this degree that was all about visual communication.
Oh yeah.
And it was more about, like, I like the term commercial artist rather than graphic design. Because commercial art is actually, quite a skill.
Yes.
To design things for commercial influence. For commercial purposes.
Absolutely.
So visual communication is literally that. It's how to communicate visually what people, the moment we see something, because we perceive, we interpret an image 60,000 times faster than we do the written word.
Wow. That's amazing.
Apparently, this is a stat that is apparently out there. So so fast forward then to sort of websites, and we touched upon it. I went and did the degree. I had child number 4 in tow, and as a baby, and she sort of slotted in, and I loved it. And when you love something and you really want to do something, I think you do it, regardless of babies, children, whatever. So did that. So come 2002, I got hauled in by a very good friend of mine who had bought the domain name propertiesabroad.com.
Oh, wow. Propertiesabroad.com. Wow, exactly. Is that smart?
Yeah, well, kind of. But this will lead me to how I sort of got to where I am today a bit.
Sure.
So propertiesabroad.com. And he said, Carol, he said, you're the only person I know who sort of, you're quite technical and you're quite visual and you're doing your degree. Why don't will you come and join me to start this company? And it's all going to be online. We're going to build a website. He said, but before we build the website, let's plan it. And we spent 3 months meeting up, planning, writing down what we wanted, how we wanted it to work, what we wanted to do, what was more important. We used to mark everything that we wanted out of 10. So if that's a 9 out of 10, or if it's a 2 out of 10, 9 out of 10 would go into the version 1. A 2 out of 10 might go into phase 2, 3, or 4. So we did that. Got somebody to build the website bespoke, because in those days we didn't have WordPress or anything like that. And built propertiesabroad.com, and it lasted for a long time. And the reason why it lasted for a long time was because we'd planned it properly.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
no, I totally know what you mean. That's the number one frustrations that I had working with people to design websites for them, is they didn't want to put enough time into planning the site. I worked with a hairstylist that I gave her money back because she had no logos, she had no branding, she didn't want to tell me her color. She didn't have any content, she didn't have any pictures of her salon, she didn't have any content, she wasn't willing to spend the time with me. She thought I was just going to make it all up and just do it. I didn't want to contribute anything. So it's crazy. Would you say that building a website is equivalent to like almost on the same level, almost like building a house?
Oh, funny that. Look at that's the guide.
That Smart Start Guide to Website Planning.
And what do we have really there? It's the website with cranes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Building the website. It absolutely is 100%, because if you build a house and you don't tell the architect, if you suddenly halfway through say, actually, I don't want the bathroom there, I want it over there.
Yeah.
Right. He's going to say, well,
it's huge changes.
Change all the plumbing, change this. Anyway, but so the planning thing then came into play because I was in the property industry then. 2000, I did another thing which was very technical, which was building a sort of with another company that I went to, and we built. It was a property company, and I planned and had built. It was like a dating agency between agents and developers around the world.
Okay.
So property agents so a developer would come up with a development, and we would sort of like feed his information into the system, and it would then spit out all the agents that would match his particular kind of property that would potentially represent him and sell his property for him.
Wow.
So there was
That's neat.
But then 2008, we hit a big recession.
Oh, the Great Recession. Yeah.
The Great Recession.
That kind of.
Yeah. So that kind of, the company went from 60 down to 6 overnight.
Oh, wow.
Lots of people, so I'm like, oh, what am I going to do? And lots of people say, oh, start your own company. You can do this. And at that time, it was starting to kick off. You had 2008, 2009, your Facebooks, your Twitters are coming into play.
Yeah.
And again, I had, people would say, oh, I've got a website, I've got a website. Oh, but it doesn't work. Oh, but it doesn't work. So I thought, so I'd always say, did you plan it? And they went, well, no, my next door neighbor's son built it, or, I said, well, that's why it doesn't work. And so I thought, okay. And I started a company called Smart Website Planning.
Yeah.
Thinking that, because I was at the time, you had the what was it called? Dreamweaver.
Oh, yeah. I still have a copy of it.
Oh, so Dreamweaver and PHP and code and all of that.
HTML, CSS, even now JavaScript.
And I tried building websites in that, but I thought, God, I'd rather stick pins in my eyes. But then along came WordPress. Yeah,
WordPress is amazing.
Okay, so then with WordPress, a designer could actually code in a way. I mean, I can understand CSS. I can write a bit of CSS if I find out what the bit I want to change that or change that. So, but PHP, I kind of understand it. I can procure it, but I wouldn't want to write it.
No.
So obviously, having a degree in the visual communications and having written the website planning, one thing led to another, and we get digital, which started as a Twitter handle. And all my friends who were sort of in the industry go, oh, that's a really good thing. And so I found out that we could get the domain name. And with my husband and everything, we started We Get Digital.
Oh, right on.
Then, and the SEO thing I was going to say, that came.
Yeah, how did you get
the propertiesabroad.com, right? So you said, oh, that's a great name. But back in that time, there was Yahoo brought out a little tool called Overture.
Yes. Do
you remember?
I remember Overture, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Before Google did not exist, but there was this little Overture that you could put in a keyword and it would tell you how many people were searching for that keyword and give you suggestions. Mm-hmm. It was brilliant. Mm-hmm. Yahoo, if you're listening, bring it back. Anyway, so I remember thinking, oh, great. And I fed in properties abroad. And then I thought, oh, the other one is properties overseas.
Oh, yeah.
And I found out, to my horror, that 4 times more people were searching for property overseas than they were searching for property abroad.
Okay. So did you make a page?
I bought another domain name called Prime Property Overseas, which we ultimately used for something else.
Oh, okay.
But it was like when I then one of the I used to give talks and stuff on websites and planning and SEO, and I used to tell people, I used to say, do your keyword research. I said, because if you don't, you might as well just not go online and shut down your business and go and sit on a desert island. You have to know your keywords.
So you would say that one of the first fundamental things to do before you even start designing a website is keyword research?
Before you even get a name for your business.
Or you can get a name for your business. Yeah. Yeah, because that could really impact how much traffic you could get based on.
It's one of the things. It's not, it's not the main thing. I mean, if you've sort of been a local brand or something for a long time and you've got your name and everybody knows you for that name. And
like if you're Coke or if you're Pepsi or if you're, big brands. Yeah. If you have brand recognition already. That's what you're saying.
If your business is you and it's your name. So people like to search for your name unless they know you.
Do you think that's a good strategy to brand yourself as your name?
If you want to. I just built a website for a lady. She does coaching and she just wanted to get known for her.
Oh, okay.
She doesn't want masses she doesn't want to build a brand. She doesn't want to build a business.
Build a company.
Or anything. Yeah. She just wanted a website that was her.
Yeah.
So there's other ways that you can, there's other ways that you can get traffic without having to necessarily have your industry in your domain name.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It helps, but it's not critical. It's not.
No, I think people should have their own personal brand. And if you're just starting out, like have your own personal brand and then have it evolve into a company if you want.
Oh, definitely.
First and foremost, establish yourself as an expert first with your own domain.
I've got carolverity.com. We've got wegetdigital.co.uk and .com because we got the .com after the .co.uk, but that's another story. But I've got carolverity.com.
Yeah.
Because that's my brand as me. Yeah. But that's, I suggest that if people can, then to build the two, if you've got the business, but also if it's you fronting that, and if you're you're the voice of your business, then build both, to build a brand for you and build a brand for the business as well. That
absolutely
is good too. But
what about what's the next step? Like this smart website planning guide. Is it a guide or a book, would you say, or a workbook? Yeah. It looks like So that's pretty significant. How many years did it take you to put that all together?
Oh, it only took a few months, but this was put together in 2009.
Oh, wow. But I assume I
keep updating it.
Is this the third? Yeah.
Yeah. I've got a PDF.
Yes, that's what I mean.
This one is like planning your
So there's
website.
years of experience in that. Is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah,
you didn't put together in an hour. There's years of experience in that document.
Oh, gotcha. But it's funny though, because I revisit it, and we're talking like now it's 13 years, something like that. But I revisit it and I read a lot of it, and a lot of it's still significant because, as I've always said to people, I said online is more about psychology than technology.
I'm laughing because it's so true. And yet so many people think the opposite.
Nothing to do with technology.
No. If you don't have good psychology on your website in the form of copywriting to communicate your message, and you don't know who your audience is, who you're trying to target, and you have the right message to market fit.
Yeah.
And don't care if you're using WordPress or Joomla or the best CMS in the world.
No.
Ain't gonna matter.
No. Absolutely. No. So I think that's where we're a little bit different as a company.
Yeah. Oh, hey, it's cool.
Because we've got the psychology, we've got the technology, we've got the visual communications degree that I did was mainly about the psychological impact of what people see.
Yeah.
And, the faster they see that you're the right, you look good, you're right, you're a right fit for what you do. For example, you're not going to make a site that is for a removal company or a man with a van or something look like, I use a London, like Harrods or Fortnum and Mason or like a really posh shop. Yeah. You just wouldn't do that. Because people would land there and they think, oh, blimey, they're probably really expensive. So they'd scarper before they've even, sort of gone past the first hurdle. And what you want to do as a company when you're building it or when you've got a website, you want people to like land there and think, oh my God, this is me. This is for me. These people can cater for what I'm looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. What are some of the ways that people can go about doing that?
Call me. No.
Well, hopefully they will after seeing this. But like, what's your process for helping people to discover what those things are?
We sit, and I can honestly say the first thing that people do is just it's like almost like a business consultancy. And sometimes sometimes people have got it, and I sit down and say, have you written a brief? And 99 times out of 100, it's no. And I say, well, how do you know what you want? Well, it's in my head. So I'm like, so I sit there and then try and haul it out. I try and haul it out. One of the best ways to do it now, which was harder 10, 15 years ago, is like, can you please send me some links to 3 or 4 websites that you love and would, like, if your website looked like that, you'd be like, oh my God, I'm happy. So that's the first port of call, because they say, I'll see this website or that website, and and then you kind of start chatting, you build a picture, you target audience, all the sort of normal, well, for me, I think of it as normal questions that I'd ask. Where do you want your business to be? There's, for example, one beautician might want to grow her beauty brand into a big brand and have beauty salons all over the country.
Yeah.
And the other one might say, no, I don't want to do that. I just want to be local. I just want to be found locally. And I just want a nice little brand that's just sort of very friendly. And, so that the same industry can have 2 completely different visions for themselves.
Yeah. Different goals.
Yeah. So please sit down, take notes. And then we send out a proposal, and we, they kind of, if they think that we might be able to interpret well what they're looking for. And then
they end up hiring you.
Turn it into, have you got a logo? No. If they haven't got a brand, it's not something that we do as a separate thing. We don't say, oh, we do logos. But if somebody if somebody hasn't got one,
you connect them with someone who you trust.
No, we can do it. I can do it. I can do a logo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can do that because my degree taught me how to do that. That was one of the main things. But I don't. It's not a product
that you market heavily.
Exactly.
As a logo, in other words, what you're saying to me is you don't brand yourself as a logo designer.
No. not at all.
Neither do I think you should. Yeah.
But if somebody is starting a business and they're looking for a website because they've just started a business and they haven't got a logo, or they don't like the logo that they've got, or they're not happy with it, then I just always say, well, we'll just do something or other. We can do that.
Yeah. 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 I've worked with a few businesses. Well, a few. I mean, I'm not hundreds, but a few, in regards to creating a logo. And kind of found it odd that some of them, like one guy, his ex-wife, well, then was his wife, she created a logo. She had no graphic design experience. And you could tell by looking at the logo, you could tell. And another lady, I'm almost positive she grabbed a piece of clip art off the internet and opened up Microsoft Word and typed in her name of her business and put it together and took a screenshot. And that was her logo. So you talked about how important it is that we judge people. And we do. We judge. Well, I judge businesses. If I show up on their website and it looks like crap from a aesthetic point of view. And as you said, if the visual communication is communicating to me that you're too cheap or incompetent to have something that's quality, I'm not interested. Do you think other people are like that, or is it just me, Carol? Am I just a big jerk?
No, everybody's like that. Honestly, we all, you've got about 3 seconds.
Yeah.
With a website to make somebody stay there and go further.
Do you think there are some industries where it doesn't matter? Like, for instance, plumbers. Do you think people just don't care about plumbers, whether they have a good website or not?
I think it's so. Okay. I don't think it. I think it does matter. I think it matters in every single industry in this day and age.
Yeah.
Plumbers and tradesmen don't tend to think about it because they get maybe a lot of referrals and they do a lot of business locally and this, that, and the other, and they may not have a website and until it dries up.
Yeah, because word of mouth
until business dries up, and we've had a few of them. We've had a couple of electricians, and we've had a couple of. We've got a bricklayer at the moment. We're just about to build a website for, and I've done lots of business and it's been really good, and I've built up my business, and then all of a sudden it's like, but it's not very good anymore. So I think I need a website. And then they want something that's good, that, and if they want to put their prices up, or if they want to be a specialist in a certain area, that's another question actually at the very beginning of a website build, and sort of when we do the consultancy is, do you specialize in anything? Have you got a niche?
Yeah, and that's important, isn't it?
It's really important. And then the number of times we've actually had to guide people and convince them to build something that is much more heavily focused on their niche rather than general. That really helps. And a lot of people are very reticent, especially small businesses. I had a lady, she did physiotherapy for the elderly. That was mainly her target audience. For older people, for the elderly. She did physiotherapy for the elderly to help them not fall over.
It's a good market to have.
Yeah, and not fall over. And so I said, right, great, we're going to build this amazing website and it's going to really focus on that. She said, yeah, no, I don't want to do that because I do other physiotherapy, so I don't want to focus on anything. So I'm like, you're mad. Luckily, a friend of mine who's a business consultant knew her as well, and she was going to her for some business consultancy, and she said the same thing. And she said, no, you've got to focus. So we did. Luckily, in the end, she agreed, and she's doing really well. And because
it just makes so much sense. It's a difference between a spotlight and a laser.
I know. And I mean, if you went to our website, you'd probably think, well, they don't specialize. But believe you me, we've got a couple of websites which are absolute. We've got, like, for example, the We Get Digital, which is a general thing. But we specialize just in websites and in SEO. So that's that's kind of specialized.
You specialize in those two things.
But we've got wellnesswebdesign.co.uk. And believe you me, we get people who they just, they're in the wellness industry and they want somebody who understands their industry.
Yeah, exactly.
So
absolutely.
That helps. That really helps.
It does, doesn't it? To target.
But I know. I mean, I realize obviously we could take an account. We could have accountancy websites.co.uk. You know, it doesn't matter. But we've done such a lot in the wellness industry. We thought, well, we could have a whole portfolio on this. So we thought,
yeah. So would you say that pivoting, or to be frank, sorry, not pivoting, but would you say that focusing on that specific industry has helped your agency grow more than not? Like, instead of because a lot of agencies are all over the place. They're like here, there, everywhere in regards to who they take on.
We've had a couple of inquiries today, even, you know, should have somebody who was the health space or whatever. She wants SEO, but she wanted a company who's you know, understands her industry.
Yeah. I have a question for you. How do you avoid, Carol, how do you avoid taking on a client without a conflict of interest? That's always been my concern. For instance, you take on one physiotherapist and another physiotherapist.
Yeah.
And they both want to rank for the same keyword. Like how do you handle that?
You just do it. But again, most physiotherapy is actually not the best example, because most physiotherapists want to do local SEO rather than national.
Yeah,
so
fair enough.
They would only want to rank for that keyword locally.
Okay. So if they're not in the same radius, then like the same 10 mile or 10 kilometer radius, is there a certain radius that?
No problem. No problem. Most people want within 10, 20 miles or within their locality or within their, because people won't travel further for physiotherapy. But if it's
that's why I meant the radius around their business, a 10 kilometer. I'm not sure if it's miles or kilometers in the UK. So
miles.
Okay. Yeah. 20 mile radius.
But most people want somebody local. We get a lot of business because people phone us and say, I had somebody to do my SEO and they were over in wherever, up in Scotland or whatever it might be. But we want somebody who we could pop in and see.
And
talk to. And I don't know, maybe they want to know where that person lives. They come and hit us over the head, but no.
There's a guy from Australia who wrote the web design business site kit for SitePoint, sitepoint.com.
Right.
And he wrote this manual for starting a web design agency. And he said that now he had a successful web design agency. That's why he wrote the manual. But anyway, in Australia, so he wasn't just someone off the street. But he said that most customers want to deal with someone within a 25 to 50 mile radius of where they are.
I'd say that was pretty. It might spread a little bit further. I mean, we've had clients who we've built sites for and we do work for that we've never even met.
Yeah. In person.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm assuming since the pandemic, you probably have had a lot more meetings with meetings like this.
Yeah, Zoom, everything. I mean, I kicked off with MSN back in 2000.
Both. We're dating ourselves here, Carol.
Did you ever have an AOL buddy list?
I never had AOL. I never got into AOL. I don't know why. I think I had an MSN chat and going
AOL,
back to.
What was I on AOL? I'll tell you when AOL. 96, 7, mid-90s.
Nice. Yeah.
Mid-90s. AOL, I think, was the only one you could get on, and it had this buddy list. And I was going to all my friends and family. I'd go, you've got to get online and get on
buddy list.
It's really cool.
That was the beginning of social media.
and they were going, no, we're not going to do that. It'll never catch on. I'm like, all right, okay. So, and then I wrote a blog once. Like, I wrote a blog about that and the whole sort of sitting there all by myself with nobody on my buddy list. And it was called Nobody Loves Me. And it was all about sitting by myself online. So I've always said to people, I don't see technology, I don't see screens, I just see people, and that's the psychology side of it.
That is absolutely. So what are some of the aspects? Like, is it when you say it's the psychology side of it, is it coming down to copywriting?
How to inspire people, how to draw people
with
in,
words.
With words. And I think as with the websites, it's about finding a balance and a fusion between visual and verbal.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you can get
absolutely
that balance right, if you can get that visual verbal balance right, then and just saying something that just hits people between the eyes, and good titles for your blogs.
Mm-hmm.
Like the little booklet that I've written for Google, and it's like how to think like a search engine, and people go, oh yeah, I'd like to think like a search engine. How do they think?
Yeah. Bill Glazer said that, I'm not sure if you're familiar with him, but he was Dan Kennedy's business partner. Dan Kennedy is a marketer that's impacted a lot of people, like Perry Marshall and Ryan Dice. I could go on and on. But he said the number one skill that every entrepreneur, small business owner should learn is copywriting.
Yeah.
And he used to own a men's clothing store, and he turned his clothing store from a failure into a very, very successful clothing store chain. And he wrote 7 $1 million sales letters, 7 sales letters that generated $1 million in revenue.
Wow.
So I guess my question is, like, would you agree with him that you should, at least as a business owner, have some fundamental understanding of copywriting? A, so you can either write it yourself, or B, be able to identify what good copy looks like?
Yes, I definitely do. I'm not brilliant at that. My husband is. He's more.
There you go. That's why you guys are partners.
I'm more visual and he's more verbal, but I think he wouldn't agree with that on a lot of things. I'm more verbal. It's just the words that come out might not necessarily be that right, but no, it's definitely true. There's a great book that was written by a massive New York advertising guy. It was written in
Ogilvy?
Roy Gahn. A guy called Roy Gahn.
Oh wow. This is the first time hearing this. I'd love to hear more.
Oh, okay. Roy Gahn, he was responsible for, like, I think Kellogg's ads.
Oh, how do you spell his last name?
Garn. Roy Gahn. And he wrote a book called The Power of Emotional Appeal.
Power of Emotional Appeal.
Yeah. The Magic Power of Emotional Appeal.
Magic Power.
I think it's.
I'm on Amazon right now.
I don't even know if you can buy it. Can you?
I'm looking for it.
I've got a copy, but I think I paid a fortune for it.
It's on Amazon.
I don't know where it is.
It's $127 on Thrift Books. I bet you it's out of print.
Oh, there's one here. Yeah, Thrift Books, $46.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's on Amazon for $15, but I don't think they're new.
The Magic Power of Emotional Appeal by Roy Gahn. There you go.
Wow.
It kind of goes into all fields of life. It's not just, business, but that's what it is. It's all about emotional appeal.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah. Because it's interesting. I sold cars, as I told you, and people who listen to the podcast, they know that I did that. And people buy for emotional reasons. They don't, I can't remember what they say. People think this way, but they buy, they justify, I can't remember what it is, but the point I'm trying to make is people buy because of emotion. They don't buy because of fuel economy or features or whatever. They don't.
Price is like about 5th on the list. There's loads of things like value. So perceived value, and if people feel they're getting value for something, that it's not price, it's value. Yeah, here's what it is. They buy with emotions and justify with logic. I'll tell you something. It's not easy. We all do it. Did I see something the other day? I can't remember, but it's there's loads and loads of different.
In other words, people have to create copy in their websites that communicates an emotional message and connects with people. I think that's what I'm hearing you say, is that the key to having a successful website, if I'm reading between the lines of hearing what you're saying, the key to having a successful website is implementing emotion communication, both visually and verbally, in your website that resonates with your target audience to connect with them and ideally build rapport with them, even if you're not doing it in person like this in sales. But you have to think about how your website is being perceived in regards to selling them to even contact you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And to connect and resonate with them.
And giving your business a personality.
Giving your business a personality. That's not easy to do.
No.
Like, it's not, is it?
No.
Like how long does it take you on average, would you say? It's just not average. I'm not saying like the extremes, but in helping a business, like that lady who came along, or person who came along and had worked with the physiotherapy with the elderly. Did you have to build a brand for her?
Yes, I had to. She didn't like the brand she had. I had to change the logo a bit, the colors, and tweaked it a little bit, and we tweaked the strap line.
Okay.
A bit, and I mean, I heard once, because I just don't count it too much, but it a good website from start to finish, with the conversations, the planning and the building and the this and that, should usually takes between 60 to 80 hours.
Yeah. Absolutely.
60 to 80 hours of work.
Yeah. What do you think AI, like artificial intelligence, is going to be able to assist people to shorten that amount of time involved in order to create things like that?
I don't know.
Don't know. Okay, fair enough.
No, I don't know. Yeah. I don't think so. I really don't. You can't. I'd say no.
Yeah.
I'd say no. I'd say you need people. People need people, and people buy from people, and people. I get annoyed even when an AI is on, like, when you're trying to get help from a
chatbot.
Company.
Yeah, chatbot.
Chatbot. We tried one on our site, and I just no, go away. You can pick up the phone and phone me.
Yeah.
Don't like it. I don't like it. Yeah. I like it. What do you? Things. It has its place.
Yeah. What do you see some of the biggest mistakes that business owners are making in regards to their websites?
Don't plan it.
Don't plan it. There you go. Yeah. No, it's
plan it properly, and they put the cart before the horse. They don't.
Okay.
They don't think about the content. They don't know how to think about the content, or they create content without thinking about the SEO, or they create the content with SEO in mind and not thinking about people. All that stuff. I mean, Google have now just launched a whole new algorithm.
Yeah, called the helpful content update.
Helpful content update, exactly. Yeah. And they want, they want you to appeal to people, and it's all about the people. And what I always say to clients, I said it today about 2 hours ago to somebody, that all Google want to do, their main purpose in life, is to give us the best websites for our search.
Yeah.
So as a business, your responsibility to Google is to make sure that your website is the best website for people's search. Because if it's not, Google won't pay you.
It's not interested. Yeah.
They're not interested
in the best. Yeah. Yeah. The best looking design, the best content, the best branding, the best. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, you said something there about the best looking design. It needs to be the most appropriate design.
There you go. That is key. That was a nugget you just shared.
It's not necessarily the best. You might say, I'm going to have the most modern website, but if your target audience isn't a modern target audience, and you need to be a little bit more classical, and you need to make it so that it appeals to the people who you want to appeal to. Mm-hmm. And that might not be the most modern, and it might, to other people, it might not be the best, but it's the most appropriate for you, for your tone of voice, for your business personality, and for what you want to achieve and what you want people to feel, when they land on your website.
Yeah. So what are the elements then? Like, what would you say are the elements of a appropriate website?
Well, it depends that depends.
Like if I was to say to you, like, what's I mean, I'm putting you on the spot. I know, I guess I'm asking what are the principles of beautiful web design, or the principles of, I mean, I know color theory is one, make sure you
color theory is one, but it's okay. So the simplest
like, don't use more than 6 colors on your website. If you're going to use like 18,000 colors, that just doesn't
okay. The simplest way to describe that is, so I'd say to you, right, so you're a client and I say to you, right, okay, what's your favorite color?
My favorite color, blue.
Okay, you say blue. I was going to say blue. Your favorite color is blue. And then I say to you, okay, that's good. What's your client's favorite color?
No idea.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Find out. How do I find out? Go ask them. But this is just a hypothetical situation. So if your client's favorite color happens to be yellow, then guess what? What color website are you going to build?
Yellow.
Blue one or a yellow one?
Yellow one with complementary colors.
with complementary colors, with blue, so you're happy with it too. So you go, oh my God, I love it. And your clients come along and they go, oh my God, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's sort of starting to become appropriate. So then it's got to be right for your target audience. Then, visual so the pictures, how can we put those together? So a lot of the images we can sort of give them a tone. There was a great website I saw once, and I became really obsessed with. Obsessed with that kind of treatment, which was black and white images with one thing picked out in color. With one bit in that black and white image picked out in color. And I managed to I applied it to a lovely lady who we built she was a psychotherapist, and we built a website for her. And I managed to put that treatment was very appropriate for her site. So that visual treatment, which then we paired with some very beautiful wording. And then a very nice balanced look for the services that she offered below, and it was just lovely. And the tone was right. It hit the right tone for her, for the target audience, and for the industry. She was a specialist in loss.
Okay.
A psychotherapist who was specializing in loss.
Okay. Right on.
So things like that. Things like that. But we dig deep. I think if anybody came to, I would certainly say that if anybody came and sat with us because they wanted a website for their business, we do dig.
Yeah.
We dig as deep as we can.
Absolutely. Because that's what creates the best product.
Exactly.
So I tip my hat to you for that, because, a lot of web design agencies don't do that.
Well, I think there's a lot out there that were marketing agencies, maybe pre-web marketing agencies, or people who are trained in marketing and love marketing, and they're probably very, very good at marketing. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they're brilliant at planning and coming up with an appropriate website for their clients. The psychological side, but then the visual communications. I can honestly say there's something. Have you heard of semiotics?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the study of signs and signifiers and what things mean and what people respond to, the emotional response to certain things, and semiotics. And that was a big part of studying visual communications. And it's a I didn't do it to build websites, I promise you, but it's just
very helpful.
Very, very, it's been critical, I'd say.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah.
Critical.
Yeah. Sometimes I poo-poo on my web design education, but in reality, we don't really realize how valuable the thing is that we're doing until we go later on to use it and go, oh, yeah, okay, this does come in handy.
Yeah.
In that regard.
But I love all that. I love sitting down and with clients and learning about where they want to go with their business, where they're at, where they want to be, and coming up with the solutions.
Yeah, absolutely. Because at the end of the day, that's what we're doing. We're solving a problem and providing a solution for the particular client that wants to do the exact same thing.
It's your analogy. Going back to the builder analogy, builders building a house, it's like a lot of builders sit there going, oh, can't do that. Oh, no, can't do. Oh, that's difficult. Oh, no, we can't do that. Whereas when we moved here, we've had lots of building work done and stuff. And we've got an amazing builder, and he's called Building Solutions. And he always comes up with a solution for things. And we like to pride ourselves in coming up with solutions rather than not problems. There's solutions. There's only solutions.
That is awesome. What a great way to end the interview. That is so awesome. Like you can't top it off any better than that. There are no problems. There are only solutions. And if you want a solution, Carol's your gal. Hey, how can our audience
I might not be local to a lot of your audience.
We interview people from all over Australia, UK, US, Canada.
I'm only down the computer. I'm just a person, not a screen.
How can our audience get in touch with you online if they choose to do so?
It's www.wegetdigital.co.uk.
And are you personally on LinkedIn or Twitter or anything like that?
Yeah, Carol Verity on LinkedIn.
Carol Verity.
Twitter, no, don't do anything on Twitter. I don't. I use Twitter till the death. I think if I've got 23,000 tweets, they all happened before 2011.
Yeah. I'm not a big. I find most of our audience is not Twitter users, but anyway. So Carol Verity,
shoot me an email. Yeah. Carol at with no e. Carol CAROL at wegetdigital.co.uk.
There you go. Right on. Well, hey, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been an absolute blast talking to you. It's been a total pleasure. Thank you very much,
Matt. Thank you.
Yeah.